Week 10 of the NFL is here. I can't believe it's week 10, Brandon.
NFL season goes faster than anything else in this world. Like it's
100%.
always over in a blur.
100%. But thank you all for joining and listening and watching us. We are 904 more. We talk Jaguars football and other news around the NFL. And I say let's go ahead and get right into these picks. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Thursday night, Baltimore at the Miami Dolphins. I don't even think this is going to be close. I think Baltimore is just going to smack the crap out of Miami.
Yeah, I mean, Baltimore had a little bit of scare with Minnesota last week, but that was they had like a kick return for a touchdown and other things happen. And Miami, I think, is still going to be out Tua. I agree. This is going to be, and I think Ravens are going to win by double digits.
Oh, 100%. Also, I kind of want to give credit to the Vikings. Vikings have lost a decent amount of games this year, but they've all been pretty close. They fight there. And we actually talked about them, like week one when we did like all our season preview. We said the Vikings are probably only be a 5 or 6 win team, but they're always going to be in the games.
Yeah, and that's what they've shown, and we'll see with the whole Dalvin Cook thing that's breaking right now. Of like, we won't talk about it because he's still going to practice. That's all we know. But that's going to start. But they lose him for the rest of the season, possibly longer. That's going to be a huge blow, and they may not be in those games anymore that they're losing. It might just be blowouts.
Yep, we will see what happens there. Next up, Sunday games, 1:00. We got the Atlanta Falcons at the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys coming off of a devastating loss to the Denver Broncos. I do think the Cowboys bounce back, and I think they handled the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons are much better than I thought they were going to be, especially with Ridley being out. Cordell Patterson is just a workhorse. Like, I don't know if he's on a multi-year deal there or just a 1 year, but if he's on a 1 year, he's going to get paid because he's showing he can do a lot of things. He's probably the only reason this game is close, but I agree. I think Dallas is going to be – we're not going to get blown out at home twice in a row. So I think Dallas is going to really step it up against Atlanta.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And do you see that it's kind of like an article about Cordell Patterson asking about playing three different positions. He said if his mom can work 3 jobs, supporting them, he can play 3 different positions. So that's why he plays running back, wide receiver, and kick return.
Honestly, I don't know why we don't do Chenault like Cordell Patterson. To me, they're like the same player. So hopefully Jags have been copycatting a little bit last couple of weeks. So maybe when we face the Falcons, we'll copycat the Falcons and use Chenault like they use Patterson.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think a lot of Jags fans, we all agree that Laviska is used wrong currently, and he's more of a running back sort of.
Yeah.
But next up, we got the New Orleans Saints at the Tennessee Titans. In our Pick'em League, I actually went with the New Orleans Saints, and that's going to be my upset just because I don't like the Titans. So that's the only reason. But I'm going to pick the Saints as my upset, one of my upset picks of the week.
This is one of the toughest ones, I feel like, just because I don't know who's going to win this game. I don't know which Saints team's going to show up. Like, is it going to be the Saints team that played 2 weeks ago without Jameis Winston, like when Jameis Winston went out and they still handled the Bucs pretty well? Or is this going to be the team where the Falcons, where they give up 27 points and to a very bad Falcons? I still think Falcons aren't great, and they didn't show that much against the Falcons. So they show like up against the Falcons, Titans, and then vice versa. If they show up like they did against the Bucs, Saints. I honestly don't even remember who. This is my toughest game of the day. But I think I went Titans just because they're a hot streak.
I can definitely see the Titans still winning. Next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at Indianapolis Colts. I believe Indy is actually a 10.5-point favorite. I know in our Pick'em League, I picked the Jags, but I think for this sake, for the video, I want to pick the Colts because I feel like if I pick the Jags, we're going to end up losing. So I'm going to kind of do some reverse psychology. So I think the Jags are going to win, but I'm going to pick the Colts.
We'll see what happens because I'm picking the Jags, man. I think this Colts team, they're not similar to the Bills. But we talked before in the previous video that Carson Wentz is kind of a subpar Josh Allen. And I think the best part of this defense is the run defense. I think the Bills defense is better than the Colts defense. So if we show up like we did against the Colts and the run defense for us really steps up, we limit Jonathan Taylor on carries, I don't see why the Jags shouldn't at least cover. Like the 10.5, I think is ridiculous. I would lay my money on this week if there was a lock, 10.5.
Yeah.
But I still think the Jags have a chance to win this game. I'm gonna pick them just because, but it's just not 100% chance.
Yeah, and in order to stop Jonathan Taylor, how you said limit the carries, but he's someone that likes to take it to the outside, sort of.
Mhm.
So that's what we need. We're really good at stopping in the run, with against the offensive lineman, but he likes to bounce it outside. So hopefully Miles Jack and Damian Wilson, they're prepared to stop the run there. And then also their defense line has not been getting pressure at all. DeForest Buckner, I believe, has been the only one that's somewhat productive on that defensive line, and he's getting double team now. And also, you still have Darius Leonard on that team, who's one of the best linebackers in the NFL. But other than that, their secondary does not scare me. I think it's more so just, the key factor to avoid is Darius Leonard on the defense.
Yeah, I think the Colts lead the league in turnovers or something
With
like
such
that.
a young, it's mind boggling.
But it's mainly Darius Leonard causing fumbles. From what I think he has like 6 or something like that. It's some ridiculous. It's like Trayvon Diggs with interceptions. He's doing that in fumbles. Like he's causing one almost every other game, if not almost every game. So as long as we don't turn the ball over and don't give them that turnover, because it's kind of like what Urban said, if you start turning the ball over and getting those turnovers, you'll win the game. And that's why they've been winning the last couple of weeks. They've been turning the ball over and running good. So if we don't turn it over, stop the run, I don't see why we wouldn't win this game.
Yep. Turnovers come in bunches. We've seen that against the Bills.
Yep.
Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns at the New England Patriots. It's a very interesting matchup because if the Patriots win and the Bills lose, the Patriots are now in first place. I'm actually going to go ahead and pick the New England Patriots to upset the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I agree. Nick Chubb's going to be out. I believe Felton's out. I think Kareem Hunt is.
He's back. I think coming back.
I think he's scheduled for this week, but he still could be rusty coming off the IR. So I mean, their running back group might be the best running back group in all the league with Dearness Johnson coming off there. But he's still unproven. He has to be consistent in this. Against Belichick, you never know what could happen. So I agree. I think I'm going to give it to the home team on this one. If the Browns are home, maybe the Browns, but with it being in New England, I'm going to go with New England.
All right, so we agree on that one. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. Jets actually have a very good defensive line, and the Bills' offensive line has not been playing well lately because of injuries and just inconsistent play. But I just can't see the Bills losing now 2 times in a row to, somewhat, bad football teams, I guess, NFL terms. I think it might start off pretty close in like the first or second quarter, but I do think the Bills are going to pull away, and I think Josh Allen's going to have a bounce back game.
Yeah, I agree. And White's playing for New York. Won't be Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson's still a healthy scratch. Not a healthy scratch, but I still think like it was like kind of up in the air if he was going to play this week, but I think they're still saying they're going to wait for him. But man, if Mike White has another good game, this one against the Bills, that's going to be a serious discussion in New York for Wilson or him. But I agree. I think the Bills will pull away. I think they're going to scheme. I think the Jets are going to scheme like Miami and the Jags did. And if the Bills are smart enough, they will try to counter that and maybe actually run the ball.
Yep, exactly right. So next up, we have the Detroit Lions at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, I don't know if Detroit's going to get a win this year. I really don't. Go ahead and give me Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's going to blow them out.
Yeah, the only saving grace for the Lions this game is they're coming off a bye. So they should be pretty healthy, but I agree. I think people make fun of the Jags, but the Lions organization has been trash, and I'm not seeing much success this year. I agree. I think it's going to be an ugly game. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game. I think the Steelers probably win like 17-9 or some weird low scoring game like that.
I can definitely see that though. Next up, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Washington football team, a rematch from the playoffs last year. I wonder if Washington's defense can get back to its old form. Probably not. Looking for Tom Brady to probably have another massive game, probably 3 or 4, maybe even 5 touchdowns. Give me the Bucs.
Yeah, you never want the Bucs coming off a bye week with Tom Brady and Bruce Arians and all that, with a tough loss against the Saints. This week they've been probably just watching tape relentlessly, trying to get in there, having a whole week's rest. Washington drew a really bad draw with this one, with how it felt. I think this won't even be close. I think Brady and them the game will be over by the third quarter.
Yeah, 100%. Next up, we have the Carolina Panthers at the Arizona Cardinals. Some news out of Carolina. Sam Darnold's probably out a few weeks with a fracture. I really don't think that's going to affect him that much because Sam Darnold started off the season pretty hot. How we were talking, wow, maybe just change of scenery. That's what he needed. He was playing very well. In the first 3 weeks, he was one of the best quarterbacks when it comes to touchdown interception ratio. But now, just going back to his old self, turnover machine. Kyle Murray, D-Hop should both be back. Give me the Cardinals, and I think it's going to be a massacre.
Yeah, and then now James Conner he doesn't have to share any touches with Chase Edmonds. James Conner probably should have been the featured running back. Chase Edmonds is more of the receiver anyways, but I think James Conner is just going to take off with all the weapons they have on offense too, the way they did against San Francisco. San Francisco, I think, is a better team than the Panthers. I agree. I think I think we're gonna have a lot of blowouts this week. I feel like last week was a lot of upsets. I feel like this week is going to be like self-corrected and be like all the good teams are going to blow out all the bad teams.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I'm thinking something like 34-17, maybe like 38 to like 20, just something like, maybe the Panthers score a late touchdown to make it closer. I'm not mistaken, but I think James Conner actually has 10 touchdowns now in the year 11. He's the first player this season to hit double digits outside of Cooper Kupp.
He has a lot. He also only has I think 8 touches he has 8 touches in less than 5 yards of the end zone and has 7 touchdowns. So basically a 99% chance if he's within the 5 yards of the end zone and they give him the ball, he's scoring. So
that's insane.
Just a touchdown machine.
That is insane. Next up, we had the Minnesota Vikings at the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers coming off a nice win against the Eagles. Very good game there, especially, after the Chargers. I think they lost two games in a row before beating the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the Vikings who just continue to lose close games. I think this actually could be a close game as well, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Chargers.
Yeah, if Dalvin Cook's playing this game, I think it's a close game as well. Chargers run defense is the worst part of their entire team. That's why Eagles had success. They actually started running the ball with Jordan Howard, Hurts. I think they only threw the ball 10 times in the first half, which is unheard of. Eagles been doing the exact opposite. So if Vikings can stick to that, they have a shot. But I think Justin Herbert and Allen, Eckler, Williams, they're too good that they're going to end up winning this game.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, we had the Philadelphia Eagles at the Denver Broncos. Can Denver pull off another win? They had upset at Dallas last week. I think they're at 5-4 now, possibly. Yeah. Philadelphia coming off a close loss to the Chargers. I actually picked the Eagles in a pick 'em. So I think one of the first times I picked the Eagles this season. So we're going to give me the Eagles in a close game.
This might be the first time I did the opposite where I'm not picking the Eagles. I don't like this matchup for the Eagles. The Broncos secondary is one of the best in the league. They shut out Dallas, who has a much better offense and honestly defense at this point at home. And now we're going to Denver facing the Eagles. I don't think they're going to blow out the Eagles like they did to the Cowboys, but I don't think the Eagles have much shot in this game. I'm taking the Broncos in this.
Especially the Broncos, who have a good running attack with Williams and Gordon. That's becoming pretty nasty duo right there. Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks at Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, I assume, will be back this week. I think Russell Wilson's returning as well. So definitely should be an intriguing matchup. Go ahead and give me the Packers to bounce back. I think especially if Aaron Rodgers returns, they definitely are probably going to be pissed off about that loss against the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's the main reason why I also picked the Packers. I think this one will be the most exciting game of the week. I feel like this could be like a 40-40 game with Wilson coming back. I don't know if Chris Carson is coming back or not.
They said he's going to start practicing, but they don't know if he's going to play yet.
Well, if he's playing and you have Wilson coming back, but I think Rodgers, he wants to go out there and show that this team needs me, and he's still putting his resume for other teams to show that I can do whatever I can do. And I think the Packers going to win this game. Whoever has the ball last will probably win it. So hopefully the Packers have it last, but I'm picking the Packers.
All right, so we agree on that one. Next up, we have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Las Vegas Raiders. Can I think Raiders, they split with the Chiefs last year, or they swept them actually. I think they might have swept them last year.
I think they did. They were like the one team that actually did well against them.
I have no idea, but I'm going to give me the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to start rolling now.
I'm sticking with the Raiders, man. After what I saw with the Chiefs and Packers, they barely beat a team with Jordan Love as the quarterback. Not a great defense on the Packers. And I don't think they're going to get Odell. I know Odell put the Chiefs there, but even if he joins, he's going to have like 4 days. Maybe if he had a week, that could change it, because I think Odell, Kelsey, and Hill would be nasty trio. But right now, the Raiders are still playing good football. I think that was a fluke against the Giants. Giants didn't get that pick six. Raiders still would have won. So I think the Raiders play a clean game. I think the Raiders are going to win this.
Hey, they beat them last year. I could definitely see that happening. Next up, we have the Monday Night Football matchup. Los Angeles Chargers at the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams coming up, not Chargers, Los Angeles Rams and the 49ers. Rams coming off a tough loss against the Titans on Sunday Night Football last week. I think they're going to bounce back against the Niners. The Niners do not look impressive at all. Niners defense is just kind of falling apart. Their offense is kind of falling apart. And I think the Rams are going to light up the scoreboard.
Yeah, the only hesitancy I had with this is just the way the Rams played against the Titans last week, but I don't think they're going to repeat that. I think the Titans defense is actually one of the best in the leagues at this point, which is, if you would have told me that beginning of the year, I think I was saying the opposite. So they're really surprised me. San Francisco, I think, is nowhere near as good as the Titans this year. Give me the Rams.
Yep. Hey, hopefully it's a good game. That a lot of the primetime games all year have been really good.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But those are our picks. Thank you all for listening and watching. Definitely hit that subscribe button as we're trying to post at least 2 videos a week. Other than that, go ahead and follow us on Twitter at 904more and go Jags.
Go Jags.